My car insurance place is sending me $30 checks every couple months because they're like,
That's dope.
we have decided that we are going to give you 25% of 1/12 of your yearly.
Oh, I
whatever.
think I got this too. Yeah.
I don't get any of this. My insurance went up.
Is that Allstate?
We don't have Allstate in Canada, do we?
Yeah.
Like you're
Mine is
gonna
Allstate.
State Farm. Oh, that's not. That's the wrong.
That's State Farm.
I'm. Oh yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
You are you State Farm?
Yeah. No, I'm Wawanisa.
Wow, Anissa, that's made up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not real.
Yes, no, you're right. I probably have one of those actually. I should check the mail.
Yeah. Every once in a while, it's like they send me one, and I'm like, oh, they're still doing this, huh? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got. I think I've got 2 so far.
Bless them.
Jealous.
It's not very much money for us, but it's a lot of money for that company to send all that out.
$30 a
I
month
mean,
is a lot of money.
It's a pizza.
It's $30 a quarter.
Oh, okay. That's
So-
still $120 a year.
Yeah.
That's $1,200 a decade.
There you go.
That's right.
I'm in. Hi, welcome to the show. Welcome to Talking Reckless, the video game podcast. My name is Matt Eads. I'm joined by Kevin Byer.
Local insurance expert and insurance scammer.
That's right. Adjuster slash broker.
Yeah.
I need to get in touch. My insurance has been going up. It's really fucked. Brandon Lynch is here as well.
Yes, insurance is the best way to bring in these shows. People will be
That's right.
like, thank goodness, finally, they're going to talk about insurance.
At last,
Yeah.
my emails answered. We're here to break it all down. House insurance, car insurance. Mine's going up. Kevin's is going down. We've got every angle covered.
I'm sure it'll go up once it's renewal time, but this is just the
Mine is going up
throwing me the
mid.
carrots.
Mine isn't even renewal time. It's just my premiums just went up apropos of nothing. And the thing they sent of like, you might have noticed your premiums are going up, and basically sent me a 2-minute YouTube video about how the world is fucked. Like you might not know that the
not
pandemic is, and also the world's burning down. Like
I think
yeah,
it's
no,
important to take all of your money and give it to our bosses.
yeah, basically.
They're trying to build a bunker.
Something, a Fallout vault or something. Yeah, insurance. Boy, what a fun discussion. What a fun topic.
Yeah.
Great way.
Yeah.
Great way to bring the show in. Hi, welcome. The Patreon rework will be done next week. Next show, I will have concrete details for you on our new Patreon offerings. We have to talk after this, Brenda. Don't let me forget.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I came up with the name Endurance Run, Andy.
Okay.
Endurance
Yeah.
Run. You feel what I'm
I like
what I'm-
that. Yeah, that's very well done. Yeah.
That's all I have so far. But it's good. It's a good start.
That's right.
The name's the most important thing of anything.
You're kind of not wrong, actually. And we're very good. History has shown so good
We're
at
very good at
naming
naming, yeah.
shows and podcasts and things.
Super Saiyan Pod Super Saiyan.
That one is legit very good. That is a feather
true.
in the cap.
That's right.
That is no Men in Tank podcast. That is no. It really just that one is it's not offensive. It's just
There's a time and a place.
there's a time and a place.
Yeah.
Totally. Time.
I remember I always thought that it was like an artillery tank.
Sure.
That is what it is.
I was led to believe after the fact that it was like a container. Like a
See,
tank.
that's what I thought originally.
Could be anything. What does Manitank mean to you? Maybe the real Manitank is the friends we made along the way.
It's like a manatee transformer.
Yeah, could be.
That also, yeah, that's
Yeah.
totally true too. So many
Be-
possibilities.
what were they called?
Beast
former.
Beast Wars?
No, they did have. What were the animal? They did have names.
I think they're
didn't
still probably called transformers.
They were, but I thought animal.
Beast.
Maybe.
Animorphs. You're thinking about
No,
animorphs?
maybe it's just still Decepticons
Is that
and
the same
Autobots, I
thing?
guess.
Animorphs are the people that turn into the animals.
Yeah.
from
Oh,
the
you don't got to
books.
tell me about Animorphs. You want to talk
Okay.
about Animorphs, so
I read some of those books.
it's a man named Elfangor. I read literally every single one of those books.
I think so. We used to have a thing. You would have had it too. At good old Westboro Elementary School.
Oh, yeah.
Where we had this program where all the books had a sticker of a different color
Yeah.
to signal its difficulty
Ah, yes.
to read. And then after you read it, you could go take a test on the computers in the library, a quiz that was like not super hard, but really like just wanted to make sure you read through the whole thing.
Was it about the specific book?
It was about the
that
book you would be like, I want the test for this specific
Yeah,
book.
it'd be
they'd give
real
it to you.
basic. It'd be like, which character dies at the end? Like,
Yeah.
just to prove you read it.
Yeah, and then if you did that, depending on how difficult the book was, you get a certain amount of points. And then once you got a certain amount of points, I can't remember what happened.
It's probably like Microsoft points, probably to convert them into CAD for a stun rate, and you never had quite enough. And
But I remember I only read one black sticker book in the world.
we got there was some kind of a ranking in the classroom. I remember getting like
maybe we're
progress on a thing going up, and once you got to the end, I feel like you didn't have to do anymore or something.
You just didn't have to do any more school.
You've read so
That's
much
right.
that your reward is that you don't have to read anymore.
Because I thought, I in my head, I thought you had to read like a certain amount of books. Like, oh, you need 6 books by the end of the year. Or
Yours
whatever.
it might have been class specific
Yeah.
because you were not in my class. Except for once, maybe you were in a split.
I don't think so. Unless you
neither.
had Kramer 5.6. That was my only.
No.
Or Martell 5.6.
I had Martell for 6. I can't remember if it was a split.
I was
Like
in the
Rick
5.
Martell?
I was in the 5 side, but I don't remember. Yeah, Rick Martell taught us.
Nope. My Martell was a girl.
Not Rick. So was mine. So was mine. And then I did the electrical in her house like probably 5 or 6 years ago.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, she retired and moved out. Great teacher.
I went. We're just fucking spinning and spinning.
Yeah, I know.
And spinning.
I know.
I went for the purposes of my work to do a news story for some feel good story that Westboro was doing, and I like volunteered to go because I was like, oh, this will be fuck, and walked in the halls and literally almost like the nostalgia can almost knock you on your ass.
Oh, yeah.
When it's been that long.
How is this lady still teaching grade 1?
Yeah.
For God's sakes.
And not a single fucking person that I recognized.
No?
Which I get in some ways makes sense because it's
Yeah.
been 20 years or whatever.
And they were old ladies when they were teaching
Yeah.
us for the most part.
But yeah, no, not a single person in that whole, and it was like there was an assembly, so it was literally all the teachers were around the outside, and I was fucking looking at every single one, being like, "Who the fuck are you people?"
That would freak me out. That would make me uncomfortable in a way I could not explain. Like, what happened? Where?
I think it's more them looking at you and being like, why is this weirdo just trying to walk the halls of this elementary
That's
school?
true.
Well, at least you had like a CTV camera.
Well, and you checked it.
You were just like, how long have you worked here? At every teacher.
I checked in at the office at the front door. And knew how to get to the gym. Not that it's very hard; it's pretty close to the front office. But they're like, "Oh, do you need someone to show you the way?" I'm like, "No, ma'am, I'm from here."
That's my name up on the
They're like,
wall.
"Oh, he's a
Probably been at the school longer than you have,
most
lady.
successful person to ever come out of this school." It's not sure. It's in Sherwood Park. It's probably like,
Well, yeah, I went to
astronauts
that,
and shit.
same school,
Yeah.
so I mean,
I guess.
We
by
had
default.
a hockey NHL player came out of my school one year.
braggart.
It was all we heard about for like the entire 3 years I was there. I was like, "Oh, did you know this hockey player came out of this school?"
Should try having a Olympic gold medalist on your college. What was Shannon?
Oh yeah,
Zabados was
yeah, was
hockey
at
player?
Nate when we were.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you hear about every fucking radio ad that you have to produce and don't give a fuck about. And you're like, well, don't forget to mention our gold medalist. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people give a fuck about. I did not
Yeah.
give a fuck
Yeah.
about.
Well, and she was like particularly interesting because she was a girl who played on
No,
guys'
know what I'm
teams.
saying.
Yeah.
Did you ask her to bring in the medal? Just walk up to her in the
No,
middle.
I don't think I ever saw or interacted with her. Just heard a lot of ads on the station I had to do my DJ shift on.
She got big frizzy hair.
Is she?
Yep.
Doesn't seem very fast, you know.
Well,
She's
it's
a
in the
goalie.
helmet.
I imagine her bald. I imagine her completely shaven
She is a
bald.
goalie. She does not need to go fast.
Oh, so then it's actually an advantage.
Yeah, catch pucks.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's how hockey goes.
Well, yeah, you have like
A lot of
holes in the
goalies have
nets
long hair.
or holes in the helmet, so you can stick the hair out the side.
Just fucking like look insane. Just stare them down when they're coming down. Just fucking hair going out everywhere.
One of the Ed or Eddie looks like that, has a helmet with just hair coming out. You ever watch Ed and Eddie
No.
back in the day?
I know exactly. Like I could point them out of a lineup, but I
Yeah.
never watched any episodes.
Video games, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Taxes. We done our tax talk. We did our school talk.
Yeah.
You guys like video games or?
Well, I was gonna try and keep that going because I hadn't played any. Video
Oh, that's okay.
games,
I played quite a few.
Okay, well, why don't I just fucking shuffle it over to you guys then?
Sure. I played and finished Mortal Shell. Mortal Shell was
already?
yeah. It's not very long. It's it took me about 10 hours, give or take.
Oh yeah.
Oh, short. Is it full retail?
No, it's 30 Canadian, so probably
that's not bad
20
at all.
American or something. Yeah, it is definitely not full retail. It is definitely 30 Canadian. I just bought it the other day. It is a Souls-like. The gimmick in this one is on the left trigger you have this ability called Harden, where you turn to stone, and you can
Okay.
do it anytime. You can do it in the middle of an attack. You can do it in the middle of taking like drinking a potion.
Yep.
And while you're stoned, it seems like you can hold it forever. And while you're stoned, an enemy can hit you, and it'll protect you from that attack, and you'll kind of blow up and usually knock them back and give yourself a little bit of breathing room. And then it's on a cooldown. It's like maybe 10 seconds. 10 seconds sounds and feels right to me. 10-second
Just
cooldown.
one hit knocks him back.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it lets you get into. It's actually very, very powerful. It turns out in these games where it lets you. Like you can engage enemies where like you can start a big attack and like I'm on my way down, my downswing is coming down, but I can see he's gonna hit me in it. In a normal Dark Souls game, I'd be like, oh fuck, I'm gonna get hit.
Yeah.
In this, I stone the hit. I stone, so I take the hit and don't take any damage, but then I still hit him, and then I just back off. And I got 10 seconds to survive until my thing comes back up. I can get back in there. I can do that again if I want.
Yeah, just hit and run, and just run away
Totally.
until it comes back.
Yeah, the hit and run proved to be. That was how I played.
Yeah. That doesn't sound fun.
The other kind of gimmick is the shells, the mortal shells. So instead of there are still weapons. There are 4 different weapons you can use, but there's no armor or stats or no like RPG elements.
So you're not leveling up your magic or your intelligence or anything like that.
No, the only leveling up you're doing is you're finding things to make your weapon go to +2, +3, +4, +5, and like different upgrades for the weapons, and you are unlocking abilities for the shells. Each of the shells have abilities. There's like a big. It's not big. It's maybe I don't know 10 abilities in a circle or something. And the shells all have different kind of attributes. Where one is very, very slow but has a massive health bar, and one is balanced. And
Sorry, what is a shell? Like.
So
is
you
it
are
like a
you are
suit?
kind of a ghost spirit person who is
Okay.
like possessing these shells.
Okay.
They're bodies.
Okay.
They're bodies. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And they're your classes basically, for lack of a better
Right.
term, where it's heavy and slow, or the one I used was fast and quick and had a very small health bar but a huge dodge bar, and so the hit and run for me was a real bread and butter. It's cool.
And you're one shell for the game.
I kind of only use the one. There are 4.
But are you allowed to switch shells during the game?
Yeah,
okay.
and you are encouraged to, where you have like I won't actually. I'll like leave it for the people to discover,
Okay.
because like how to switch shells and the joy of discovery is a big part of it.
Okay.
Another thing they do, they have this mechanic called familiarity, where there is every item has 10 familiarity. The familiarity meter starts at 0. As you use it, you become more familiar with that item. You gain familiarity, and it changes the effects of the item sometimes in a weird way. So like. For example, I found a mushroom on the ground, and the first time I took it, it poisoned me. I was like, well, why the fuck would I use this?
Yeah.
But I got half my familiarity up on it, so I'm like, well, I'll just fill it up and see. Maybe it does something. On the
Like
second
halfway
use,
to 1.
halfway to 10, halfway to full. So I got
Oh, wow.
5
Okay.
familiarity. Some of them will only do 1, some will do 10
Right.
in a full thing. But the second time I use it, now it gives me immunity to poison.
Oh,
It turns out when you have full familiarity and use it, it's the poison immunity pill. So they kind of play with that, where you'll get
So
all
then
these
you only
items.
you only had to eat 2 mushrooms.
Yeah.
Then mushrooms give you immunity to poison, and that stays for the rest of the game.
That's right. Or like another example is just like Dark Souls or Bloodborne, they have consumables you're getting to get. It's tar is the currency to get souls basically. You have it's like an item you hold in your inventory, just like Dark Souls, or Bloodborne, or what Sekiro even has somewhere, where you use it and gain the currency, so that if you die, right, your items aren't disappearing, even though your currency is. When you use that for the first time, you only get 1 familiarity, and then the second time you get another one. But when you get to 10, you get double the currency or whatever. But you have to use it 10 times before that starts to happen.
So did you max your familiarity with everything?
No, there were a lot of items I didn't even use. The game's not really very hard. You have to, like, with that harden, you're pretty much indestructible in a lot of cases.
What was the final death counter?
42
shit.
or something. And like the first 20. So I didn't know how to level up the shells. Pro tip. You hold A. There's a lot of things you hold A on for some reason. It's like the Destiny thing, where like you're moving a cursor around and you hold A on it, and it like fills a little meter on the bottom. But there's no feedback on PC anyways. The controller doesn't vibrate. The meter that's filling is super hard to see. And so I played the first half of that game and the entire beta, not realizing you could level up your shells, because it just says you need to find the name of this shell. And I'm like, oh, I'll probably find it in the world, and then I learn how to level up. Okay, I've played these games. I know how this goes.
Yes, I'm a smart man.
Yeah, no, apparently I'm a dumb man. You just hold A on it. It's a long hold. It's like 5 seconds long for a reason. I don't know why. In case like,
is there something else you can use that currency on?
it's the currency you're using for everything, but like the first unlock is like a pittance. It might as well
Right.
be free in a way. But yeah, the hold A to level your shells up. It's not as hard as you're making it, and honestly, I probably could have got through it in a quarter of the deaths, maybe, and less time because the abilities are insanely powerful on some of those shells. But it's fun. It's fun. Yeah, and it's short.
It's on everything.
Is it on everything? Is that right?
I'm asking.
Yeah. Is it on Xbox? Do you know?
I only know it's on PlayStation.
Okay, I'm not sure.
But
It's on PC.
That was the only place I checked also.
I'll look that up right now.
Right.
It's very cool, though. It's a cool one of those. It's nice and short. It looks gorgeous. Has a really good art style that I really dig. And it has like some interesting things to discover. Let's see. Mortal Shell is on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Microsoft Windows. Yeah, it's cool. It's maybe a little short, would be the only thing I would say. And it's not super hard. If you're going and looking for like the super hard challenge, it's not.
It's not that.
It's kind of power fantasy. At least I
So
sort
like
of found
boss
it to be.
battles?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's
Okay.
like 7 or there's like 9 or something like that. But yeah, big boss battle, health bar, and you're locked in an arena, and you know, like you would expect.
Yep.
It's very interesting.
Neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely get that one. I'll check it out.
That's about all I played. Apparently, that's all I put on the sheet. That doesn't sound right. I played one round of
You do
Undermine.
this for a living.
Yeah.
Oh,
Kev, you want to talk about Undermine?
You picked up Undermine too?
Yeah. Well, it's on Xbox Game Pass. Turns out.
Oh, sweet.
And yeah, I played one round just because I saw you had it on the list. I'm like, I should see what this is.
Yeah. So yeah, I picked up Undermine. It's apparently been in early access for who knows how long. Came out
1.0
recently. Yeah, 1.0 it's released now. So I picked it up. It was really cheap. It was like $25 Canadian or something like that. So it is a roguelike.
Could be describing any video game in the world.
True. It is kind of a mix between Binding of Isaac, in that you're kind of moving through a dungeon, picking up things along the way.
Every screen is a room.
Yeah, every screen is a room.
All the stuff doesn't tell you what it does.
Yeah.
All this stuff does tell you what it does.
It tells
in
you what
this.
it does, but some of it, much like Binding of Isaac, like doesn't make sense.
Okay.
Like I picked up this one briefcase thing that had 10 charges on it and said something along the lines of charge me up to do something. And I'm like, I have absolutely no idea how to do
charge
that
it. Gotcha.
or what any of this means.
I found a thing that says doubles the effectiveness of meat. And I haven't found any meat, and I don't know what meat is or does, but it's twice as effective when I do find it.
Meat is your healing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wall chickens. I'm with you.
Yeah. So yeah, it also has rogue legacy elements. So every time you die in your run, you take whatever gold you have left, lose a percentage of it, and then go back to town, and you can use that gold to buy upgrades and stuff. Or the interesting thing about this game, unlike Rogue Legacy, is Rogue Legacy, every time you would go back to town, you would have to spend all your money, and any money you didn't spend, you would lose. In this one, you can go back into the dungeon and stack your gold.
Save it.
So, like, let's say you're 200 gold away from your next upgrade.
You can just go do another
you can
run.
just go and do another run and just hopefully make up what you need to get
That's
to
awful
get that
nice of 'em.
upgrade.
Yeah. It's cool. It's a weird thing to say. I like the way it looks. I can't really tell you why, or it's kind of like it's sort of. This is gonna sound a little dismissive. It's kind of it's pixel art, you know.
Yeah.
It's one of those games, but it looks really good in motion in a way that I don't know what or why. But I was playing something like this. I thought it was running at 120 frames per second, maybe, or something. Where I'm like, this looks good in a way I cannot put my finger on. It
It has a jump,
has a jump.
which a lot of those top-down games like that tend to not have.
Because you can't tell if you're jumping.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this one is very hard. Also, I found to tell, like, it's hard to get a sense of how much jump you have because you're going over gaps and shit. It's hard to tell,
Yeah.
like, how much jump you have because it's top
When your
down.
feet actually touch the ground.
Yeah, I found the jump a little. I mean, again, I only played one round and I
Yeah.
died by falling in a hole. So I found the
Yeah,
jump a little
that'll
hard.
The falling in the holes doesn't kill you. You only lose like 20 hit points every time you fall in a hole. So if you died by it,
Well.
you were probably like right at the end of your life. But
Where you didn't actually die and you just fell in the hole and turned the game off.
No, I definitely
Reset.
died because I got my next villager or peasant or whatever the wizard called me.
yeah. So yeah, you go around and you unlock different NPCs which head back to town, and each one you unlock gives you different abilities. The first guy you unlock is the blacksmith, who lets you upgrade your weapons, and then the alchemist, who lets you upgrade your potions, and so on and so on.
Saw Bombsmith, who was all locked up.
Yeah, got
If I can find the quote special key.
there's a little mini boss further up in that level that you just...
Is it a rock mimic?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that
Yes.
guy murdered the fuck out of me also.
The thing about that game is the jump is very, very important for dodging attacks.
Because you're invulnerable when you're in the air.
Yeah, you're
which is kind
invulnerable
of
when you're in
crazy.
the air. So a lot of the mechanisms for beating the enemies like really efficiently is like run in close, attack once, and then jump to the other side of it, turn around and attack, jump, turn around, attack, jump, turn around, attack,
Right.
kind of thing. But I tried that on the first boss, and turns out it did not work too well on the first boss because the first boss is really large.
The first bosses stay the same every run?
So the way it works so far, I've beaten 2 of the bosses so far.
Okay.
The way it's worked is the only kind of progress that saves, like you don't get to keep the artifacts you find, you don't get to keep the blessings or curses in between runs, all that stuff is reset. But your like meta progress is saved. So if you beat the boss at the end of the first dungeon, that boss is beaten presumably until the end of the game. I don't really know.
None of the upgrades carry over? Like if I go to the blacksmith and get my weapon damage up?
When you hit tab, it'll bring up your character sheet. Any upgrade on the left side of your screen, that will persist through playthroughs. Any upgrade on the right side of your screen will disappear when you die.
I see.
But yeah, so the bosses, you only have to kill them once, which was a little disappointing because there's a premium currency that you get, not paid currency or anything like that. It's just a harder to find
You're
currency.
talking my language.
Thorium.
For skins.
Is thorium a real metal also? I was thinking about this. Thorium shows up in a lot of different games
I
and things.
want to say thorium is a real. I think it's an
Thorium
element,
is-
isn't it? Isn't it one of the elements?
Yeah,
Thorium.
well, elements can... Yeah,
TH,
I'll look
maybe?
it up. Let's find out. Sorry, carry on. Premium currency.
Adamantium.
So yes, it's
It is real. Number 90. Weakly radioactive metallic chemical.
there you go. What's the acronym?
TH.
Boom.
What are the chances? Whoever named that knew what they were doing.
That's right. So what was I talking about? The
Son
bosses.
of Odinium.
That might be also an element. That one might also be real, actually.
So yeah, I've killed both of the bosses. Well, the first 2 bosses. Presumably there's 4 or 5 bosses.
Okay.
There's this little door that you go into in town. If you go up through one of the...
We talking like funny little?
It's a big door.
It's a big
It's
door.
huge, actually.
Yeah.
It's more of an archway.
Yeah.
I was picturing like
and
the...
there's a bunch of glyphs on the door, and each time you kill a boss, you get one of the glyphs to light up the door.
Sure.
So I assume that once you open them all up, then you'll go in through the door and fight
Probably
maybe
one
the
more
boss of
thing
the
to kill in
game,
there,
or
yeah.
maybe it opens up an entire new world that you have to go through and kill a bunch more things. I have no idea. But so yeah, I've managed to get through 2 of the bosses. They have a little cool mechanism where after you beat a boss, you can choose to play through all of the levels, because there's 4 levels and then a boss, and then 4 levels and then a boss, and then 4 levels and a boss. So you can choose to play through all the levels again and get extra gold or items to make your run stronger. Or you can teleport to the beginning of the next floor. So if you've beaten the mines, which is the first area, if you've beaten the mines boss, you can teleport from town essentially to the dungeon, which is the level 2 area.
Oh, weird. So
Gotcha.
it like... That's kind of different than a lot of these games where you're not doing the whole run again, but you're like it's almost like checkpointing in a way. I guess.
Of, yeah. And the cool part about it is too, they have like a catch-up mechanic for when you do that. So you get a bag that you open up and has a number of artifacts in it. It gives you 2 artifacts per floor that you skip.
Because the start low would be you'd have no artifacts, no items, no abilities.
Yeah, exactly.
I
So
see.
they give you every floor you skip, you get 2 free items.
You think it's worth it? Do you think you get more than 2 in a floor? Do you think it's worth it to theoretically still go down through the floors?
I guess it depends on what you're doing, because the further you go, the more gold you get. So like
Oh,
level
the further
3,
down you get.
Yeah, level
I
3,
see.
you'll get way more gold out of the gold drops than you would on the first floor.
Yeah.
So you can go through, and usually what I do is I've been trying both ways. I've been skipping and seeing kind of which artifacts I get and see if it's good, and then kind of fighting my way through, because I'm in the third area now, and I'm still in the process of learning how to avoid the attacks on all the enemies. So I'll do a couple jumps where I'll go all the way to the third floor, get my artifacts, play around, die, and just try to learn the attacks and stuff like that. And then when I get frustrated and realize, well, I've died on fucking floor 3-1 7 times in a row now. Let's do a full run. I'll try to build up my bombs and my keys and my health.
Full resources.
Go in with full resources as much as I can, and see how far I can get going that way. But it's quite a lot of time to add, rather than just skipping, because usually, I mean, depends on how fast you go. You can get through 4 floors in about 15 minutes. So
Okay, that's not bad.
So yeah, if for me, when I do a run, it'll usually be about 30 minutes before I'll die. Whereas if I just jump to the third floor and try to
Could be
learn
20 seconds.
and stuff like that, yeah, it'll be like 5 minutes.
Right.
Undermine.
That's on Game Pass, you said?
Yeah, on PC anyways. I'd be shocked if it wasn't on Xbox.
Hot damn.
Yeah, it seemed very cool. It was one of those games where I played like the 1 or 2 rounds or whatever. I was like, oh boy, I'm gonna be into this in a way that I can, just like Binding of Isaac and all those games.
Yeah, it's really easy to fall into it. There's one mechanic that opens up like somewhere in the second floor area where you get blessings and curses. So every time you get a blessing, you'll get a curse automatically. There's ways to remove curses through artifacts or potions can remove them, or you can
Psychic
sacrifice
anchors.
Percentage of HP to get rid of them in certain places. But the blessings kind of like add to your base stats. So like, let's say you have upgraded your melee attack 3 times, so you have melee attack 4. You get a blessing that will push you to melee attack 5 for that run. And then
For that run, though.
Just for that run,
see.
yeah. So yeah, and you can stack various ones of those, and
A lot going on, a lot of systems.
yeah, definitely a lot of systems.
Well, Rogue Legacy 2's out soon, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in early access, I think, right now. So probably, I wonder if that has a release date. That's probably out before the end of the year, I would guess.
Oh shit, I didn't even know there was a Rogue Legacy 2. I was a huge fan of Rogue Legacy 1.
Yeah, me too. It was one of my favorite roguelikes.
Yeah, I 100%ed that game.
I did not. I fucking ran into a wall somewhere. I really liked Crypt and the Necrodancer.
See, that one I never played either.
Yeah.
I've heard so many good things about it. Everybody who I've talked to who has played it has said that it's really great.
Yeah.
But I never got into it.
Yeah,
It's
I
very
really
different.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
really like the
Yeah.
music element of it, which just like I have never in my life had songs or beats stuck in my head when I wasn't playing a game, just like dictating my life, driving down the highway, being like, doom 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 doom.
Gotta change lanes on the beat here.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Zelda one was really cool too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't remember what that was called now.
Cadence of Hyrule.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just got a big update.
Yes. Is that free? Do you know? Or is that
I believe
DLC?
so. I'm not sure actually. I shouldn't say.
I should look back into that.
Yeah, who knows? So yeah, I
Good
played
point.
that. Briefly talk about Divinity Original Sin 2. I finished that again.
Hell yes.
Our big 4-player playthrough. Having beat it before, I knew the gimmick at the end of the game, which, spoiler alert for this game that came out 4 years ago.
Has it really been 4 years?
I think
Because we
so,
we did that stream like literally the day or day after that it came out. That's fucked up.
So maybe it was 3 years. I don't know. One of the two.
Either way, I want to throw up.
Yeah. So the gimmick at the end of the game, which kind of isn't a lot of fun if you play it by yourself, is that you fight the rest of your party.
Oh, it's so good.
It's fucked up.
Just like Splinter Cell, Conviction. You play Splinter Cell Conviction co-op?
No, but I'll tell you what I did play. Way Out.
Yep. Way Out. Way Out also does it. Splinter Cell does it. I love it.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing in co-op games.
It's a good trope.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
So I knew that was coming. So I was planning ahead. So I picked up as the strength character. I was playing as the only character who could physically carry the barrels.
Okay.
So I picked up myself a bunch of Death Fog barrels.
Okay, and just put them in your inventory.
Yeah, just had them in my inventory.
Okay. For anyone who hasn't played Divinity Original Sin, Death Fog is... Can undead touch? Undead can touch Death Fog.
Undead can go through Death Fog,
That's right.
but any living creature who goes in any square with Death Fog instantly dies.
That's right.
No matter what.
How powerful.
Yeah.
Were you undead by any chance?
That would have been
good.
That would have been really good because
the only undead in the party.
Spoiler alert: my plan backfired.
Oh no! Was somebody else undead?
No, we were all living. No one was undead. But since my strength was so high, I could literally take this thing out of my inventory, put it on the ground beside me, pick it up, and huck it to the other side of the map.
God.
So 2 of the other people were standing on the middle of this platform in the middle of the kind of combat area that they put you in at the end. Mm-hmm. So I managed to sneak into a corner, get myself like ready to go, had enough AP to pull this barrel out of my inventory, huck it to the target, and then blow it up.
Spreading Death Fog around the immediate area.
Around the immediate area and killing the 2 people who were standing right there.
Fuck yeah.
It's a perfect plan. What could go wrong?
I wonder if there's any way to like... Sorry, I'll let you finish your story.
So the thing about this game is they still haven't really ironed out all the problems with the AP system.
Some say problems, some say features.
Yeah. So
I mean, I think the difference between problem and features is if they're trying to iron it out.
yes. So every so often, something will say, all right, this should cost you 1 AP to do this thing.
Okay.
You have a fixed amount of AP during your turn.
Action points.
Yeah.
Yes.
Moving uses them, attacking uses them, spells uses them, everything you do
Yes.
uses them.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So it'll tell you, okay, clicking on this thing will cost you 1 AP, or clicking on this thing will cost you 2 AP. Occasionally, it fucks up
Okay.
where it'll say it costs 1, but it actually costs 2.
Sounds not like a feature.
No.
Yeah. Is it like trying to guess movement, do you think?
It's trying to gauge distance.
Because I think that was...
It's trying to gauge
we had that
pathing
problem
and everything
too, where
like
it's
that.
like, oh,
so-
actually, I used .99
Yeah.
AP moving, and now it made this whole thing cost 2 instead
Yeah.
of 1. And,
but it doesn't really update it because it doesn't correctly path things for you.
yeah.
So when it came time to blow up the barrel, the game thought that I was too far to throw the thing that I wanted to throw to blow up the barrel. So instead of throwing the thing with my 1 AP left,
Which is fucked, because you just threw a full fucking barrel of Death Fog that same distance.
yeah, it tried to move me closer. So it moved me slightly closer, and then it's like, you don't have the AP to do this. I'm
That
like,
sucks.
wait, what?
Boys, can we get a do-over on this one? I had this
I had
great...
a good plan.
That would have been so good. So what ended up...
I was going to walk away from the Death Fog
so-
explosion.
What ended up happening?
So how it turned out was the person who I threw the Death Fog on had an ability that switches positions with one other target.
Oh, yes.
So they switched positions with me, put me beside the barrel, teleported themselves out of there.
Is that an item? I think it's the gloves. I remember getting an item that could do that.
There was an item, but the ability was a spell because it was a full swap. The gloves just move one thing to somewhere else. So he swapped me to where he was standing and where I was standing.
That's not where you want to
Which
be.
theoretically was fine because the Death Fog was still in the barrel.
Still in the barrel. But they had enough AP to actually blow up the barrel.
Oh,
So I'm just
no.
standing there. I'm like, well, I see how this is going to end. Then
It's been an honor to play with you, gentlemen.
stream of acid flies through the sky, blows into the barrel, and I instantly die. I had like 7,000 HP.
Absolutely robbed.
I was absolutely robbed.
That's tough.
Yeah, that sucks.
I had the perfect spec. I should have won that fight.
Such a good plan too, because like you were the only one who knows it's coming. So you're like, I'm gonna save up all these fights. I'm gonna really murder my teammates with this stuff. Fuck yeah. Do you think there's any way to like preemptively? All 4 of you, I think, have to go to that final fight, right? There's no way to like. No, I killed this dude in the die. He didn't even make it to the arena. I poisoned him in the fucking lobby.
There's a few arena fights leading up to it, so they do foreshadow it over the course of the game. because I want to say in every act there's an opportunity to do an arena fight with your entire team. I know we found, I think, 2 of them, maybe.
Yeah,
but,
I remember doing a series of them.
But yeah, there was one in every act, I believe.
But you never fight your teammates. You're always on a team with your...
The last one in the chain of arena fights is always against your teammates. Maybe it's maybe it's changed because of the definitive edition and because we had 4 people. I don't remember.
I remember you and I definitely fought. I think we
losing.
did too.
Yeah.
I definitely lost. I remember. Is there a peaceful resolution?
You can choose to not fight in the earlier fights.
Yeah.
So like there was one fight where we were all, because it shows you your allies' text options when they're picking them when you're playing the game. So, and this is another thing that's fucked with that game. Every single person, I was last to pick for this specific text option. Every other person who picked, 1 was accept fight, 2 was decline fight. So I, having played the game before, didn't really care about reading the things and was just hammering through like, okay, well, 1's going to be accept fight because this person did it, 1 was accept fight, this person did it, 1 was accept fight, this person did it, 1 was accept fight. I'm just going to hammer 1. When it got to me,
extra option in there.
When it got to me, it was still 2 options, but they flipped them. 1 was decline the fight,
fuck you,
and 2 was
video
accept the
games do
fight.
that.
I'm like, why would you do that?
That's
That
very
doesn't make
funny.
any sense.
It's like the fucking owl from Zelda. Or every now and then you'd be like, "Do you need to hear what I said again?" But
be
they
like-
flip it so that no was on the bottom and yes was on the top.
You're
And
just
I'd be like,
mashing through.
Fuck.
You
that
fucker.
is fucking cold blooded.
That's
That
very
is
funny.
Very
That's mean.
cold blooded. So yeah, that was Divinity. I finished that actually maybe 2-3 weeks ago. I don't remember.
It's been a while.
Yeah. But I also finished The Last of Us Part 2.
Would you? Now you can listen to our spoiler cast.
Yes, all 7 hours. 6.5.
Like
It
7.
was
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
long.
With maybe like take a break in the middle, push it out to 8.
Yeah,
I think
definitely
you
good.
should probably take several breaks. And maybe not.
It's a heck of a spoiler cast. By the
Yeah.
way, if you haven't listened to that spoiler cast yet and you played and enjoyed The Last of Us, hell of a spoiler
Yeah,
cast
if
for
you
you.
want to, if you want to burn an 8-hour shift,
Oh yeah, that's like
fucking
a
listening
full
to podcasts.
work day.
Yeah,
What did you think? Without spoiling anything, obviously.
Without spoiling anything,
that's tough.
yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought that it went on too long.
Common complaint.
Not wrong. Yeah.
Not like, and it's hard to talk around. Like, I thought there was a point in that game where if the game ended exactly at that point, I would have been extremely satisfied. I would have thought it was like
Chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss, like almost masterpiece.
Ooh,
Almost.
Master Chef's
That's
kiss.
right.
But
Too inclusive
But
to be a true
the-
masterpiece.
the way that they made it longer than I felt that it should have been and needed to be, really detracted it for me.
And then that,
Very common complaint.
and then that part, as we skirt around this, that they tacked on.
Oh, it felt like
Called
such
the-
a tack
called
on.
the epilogue.
It felt like such a tack on. It was,
Yeah.
To me, when I was playing, it felt to me like they were wrapping it up. They were ready to go, and some CEO called down, and they're like, we need you to tack on 6
Yeah,
more
we need a
hours to
little
this
more- a
game.
little longer.
Because we said it was going to be 6 hours
I
long.
think where Kevin wanted it to end felt like an epilogue. Then there was something else.
It's true.
That was-
There is also another obvious, like,
Yeah.
okay, end the game now, you guys.
Yeah, which for me was, and we talk about this in the podcast where it was like that either needed to be way more, and I didn't want that game to be way longer, so they either needed to take way more out of the first part of the game, the first half, the first 75% or whatever it is, and put some time in there so that it didn't feel like you were just like dipping your toe into this new environment for a quick run that didn't feel like it needed to be there.
Yeah.
Or take it out completely. Like it literally felt like I was just getting my bearings in this new environment, and then the game ended, and I was like, "Why did you make everyone design all this new area?"
Maybe that was supposed to. We talked about this in the spoiler cast, but like maybe once upon a time that was going to be DLC or
Yeah.
something in a way. But
Yeah.
It would have made sense.
7 hours of us breaking down that game if you want further thoughts.
So yeah, I would I definitely thought it was way better than the first game. I really enjoyed the stealth and the combat elements
Yeah,
of it.
hell
I
yeah.
thought that was
The
really,
gameplay
really
is
fun.
so much better than the first
It is
game.
a fun game to play.
Yes,
Content
it is
aside.
a lot of fun. Moving around, like jumping through windows, following the clickers around and stabbing them and sneaking up on everyone. And
Everything just feels so tight in that game.
Yeah.
Like not tight in the way that like a tight shooter feels, but like every movement you make, they're just putting their hand on the fucking corner that you're sneaking by and everything. Where it's just like, this just looks like I'm playing a movie. This
Polished.
is as closest as I've
Polished
come.
might
Yeah.
be the word I use.
yeah.
100-hour work weeks.
Yes. Yes. Worth noting those
Yeah.
poor people.
I mean, we appreciate their sacrifice.
That's true. At least you didn't do 100-hour weeks and make a bad game.
Yeah. If there's anything worse than doing 100-hour weeks and making a game that we will probably all be talking about for years to come,
Yeah.
it'd be make something totally forgettable.
Yes.
That's you in a nutshell, Kev. Hey.
Yeah. That's pretty much the way she goes.
Yeah, way she fucking goes, buddy. Well, let's take a quick break here then. We'll come back, do a little bit of news. Does anybody have any thoughts on? We'll talk about this after the break. I don't have anything pulled, but any something for you at home to think about, something for us in the studio to think about. Updated thoughts on the Epic versus Apple
Oh God.
versus Google.
I don't want to talk about that anymore.
Well, yeah, we'll get those mental juices running. We'll meet you here on the other side of this musical break. Upgrading phones is a sucker's game.
Not if your current phone doesn't work.
Yeah, well, if you have an Apple phone and they are like intentionally slowing it down,
Yes.
super sucker's game.
My tablet, which is an iPad 2,
Yeah.
it's like super old. It basically doesn't run anything current.
Oh yeah.
I tried to download the CBS All Access app on it.
Yes.
Because that's
Very
where I'm
important
watching
app.
my Survivor.
That's right.
And it's like, no, you need an iOS 11 or higher, and your thing does not support iOS 11.
It's like literally like halfway there.
yeah.
We got a 5.
Well, I do have iOS 10.
Oh yeah. I guess
Is supported on my tablet, but
Oh
That's
right,
it,
you
eh?
said your tablet, not your phone.
yeah.
I got
Yeah,
So
my-
why you can't upgrade your phone, but you can upgrade your video game console? Is what I always ask myself.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, what am I playing on my phone? What do I need? What is Control not running well on my phone? Like, what is the thing on my phone? I'm like, fuck, I need to upgrade this thing.
And see, I still play lots of mobile games. So.
Phone a year is a total scam, dude. Phone a year is like
Oh no, not phone.
$6
Here. I've had this phone for
$600
years.
device, and I've had this one's going on 5. I pay like $30 a month for this thing now. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because what do I really do with it? I watch the stream chat. I sometimes forget pornography on it and hold it in front of this like camera that is over here sometimes. So you see me go like, whoa,
Whoa.
and bring the phone way back. It's because I forgot to close the window.
I use mine to watch Netflix sometimes.
Yeah, but I bet,
yeah. See,
it's
that's
just-
why I have my tablet, because
Shoot.
I can't watch on. I have watched video on the small screen before for my phone, but it's just so small.
I usually watch it in the work truck.
Yeah.
Short of battery life, though, a new phone's not gonna do the Netflix better.
I
Might
need,
have a
I need
better
the battery life is
Yeah.
number one thing I need.
That's kind of they don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. They
I
build
want-
them to only last a year.
I want to get one of those iPads that has like a 17-inch screen on it. But they're so expensive.
Yeah, you can it's big enough you can prop up, watch the game on it.
Yeah.
I think televisions they call those. I think right, TVs.
I remember when like a 17-inch television was like a completely normal television
Oh yeah,
to have.
my first TV was like it was under 10 inches. I
Yeah.
remember.
I remember a friend of mine. They had a television in their kitchen, and it was like a 9-inch or something like that. It was like
Yeah, the kitchen one
it was
TVs
literally
are.
like this big.
There's something classy about a small kitchen TV.
Yeah.
Black and white radio or rabbit
Yeah.
ears coming off it.
But yeah, I want to say the TV that I had, or that I guess my family had when I was younger, was like a 23, and now I'm thinking to myself, man, I should get myself a 17-inch tablet.
That's pretty big.
Yeah.
That's probably that. I think that TV monitor I use in here is like a 20.
Yeah.
So it's probably almost as big as that television screen, which is pretty big.
It's pretty fucked.
Yeah. Talk about some news, gentlemen.
Sure.
Some video game news.
As long as it's not about Apple and Epic.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of Apple and Epic.
Speaking of Apple and Epic, I don't have anything pulled, but that story continues to develop in the most fascinating and disgusting way.
Yes.
Of like, I don't know. If you really feel, you should just go look it up yourself. Go.
Like we do stories on like assault and like bad shit in the workplace.
The Me Too stuff that's been happening very recently.
In which case, it is a tough thing to talk about. But when I've talked about it, I'm like, that's good. We did our job and kind of raised awareness.
We have
for
to,
this.
in a way, talk about it.
The Apple Epic stuff, for me, I'm like, I just don't want anyone in the world to know this is happening. I just want everyone, like, if everyone could just, like, if I could control everyone's minds into just forgetting it and not giving a fuck and have these billionaires go at it and be like, we're going to weaponize our fan bases and turn them against you. And everyone just be like, I don't fucking care if I don't get Fortnite on my phone. That would make me very happy.
Yeah.
That would make me very happy if all the millions of players sent an email to John Epic and said, I don't really fucking give a shit.
That TV commercial is so bad, dude. It is so bad. And like, I don't even get the cultural. I mean, obviously I get the 1984 angle. I don't get the cultural thing. I've never seen. I wasn't 11. I think it was.
Apple commercial?
Yeah, I think it literally debuted in '84. It was in the '80s. It was directed by Ridley Scott. It was a big thing. Ridley Scott directed the Apple commercial. And like all for Epic being like, we're an $18.3 billion company. We should be worth $20 billion. We had an extra 30%. Fuck, dude.
Is there a accepted side of this to be on, or is everybody
the accepted
just
side
like, nobody
is
gives a shit?
Don't care.
Yeah,
you
okay.
shouldn't. You feel, especially now is the thing. Especially today,
That's my biggest problem with this, because the accepted side, if you took all the fucking hissy fits and everything out of it, is Epic winning this whole thing would probably be better long term for developers.
Yeah.
Maybe
in 10 years.
Sure,
maybe.
the world can change. But,
That's right.
But in the theory of everything's cheaper if not everyone's trying to get a cut, that is something we can all agree on.
Totally.
In theory.
Totally.
But that aside,
This is not even a case of that. This is Epic saying it is a case of that, but really, those V-Bucks are the same price all the time. It's just Epic will make more money.
right? Yeah. And people are like, well, they're making their V-Bucks cheaper in the store than if I got it through Apple. And it's like, well,
free Fortnite.
yeah, they're doing that until you fucking...
Yeah. The narrative that Apple took away Fortnite is complete fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Epic knowingly tanked, suicided Fortnite, kamikazed it straight into Apple.
Apple pushed the button that said you can no longer play Fortnite, but Fortnite made every decision they were making with the intention of making Apple push that button.
Totally. Yeah. And stories this week, the update this week is that Epic apparently had asked, there is documentation of Epic getting in touch with Apple asking for a special rate, a special thing for just Fortnite, only for Fortnite on the App Store. Fortnite is so big, we should not have to pay this tax. And Apple said, no, fuck you. And then Fortnite was like, oh, well, we're going to do it anyways.
I guess the thing is, is Fortnite even the number one income generator on the App Store? It's
Absolutely
probably not.
No, on the App Store, absolutely. For Apple's bottom line, this will be negligible.
Yeah.
Maybe a few percents either way. Who
They're
cares?
the
Let me tell
bigger
you,
billionaire.
fucking Candy Crush
trillionaire.
Saga comes out
Apple
and says, we need a better cut. Apple will be like, yes, indeed.
Yes.
Take all the cuts you need, Candy Crush.
Frank Farmville.
Oh, yeah. If Frank Farmville comes in.
We'll change any practice for you.
But Apple is literally $1 trillion company, and I cannot comprehend how much $1 trillion is really and especially the average person. You just hear that and you're like, that's a lot, that's a big number, but it's 1,000 millions, yo.
I saw a YouTube video.
More than that. It's 1,000 billion. It's 1,000 millions. That's fucking crazy.
I saw a YouTube video where they tried to do that thing where it shows you just how much money it is.
Graphical representation.
And the way they did it was they put they stacked $100 bills and they put it on a skid, a transporting skid. And they're like, okay, one skid, this skid has $1 million on it. So and then they just started stacking them up and being like, well, this is what $1 billion looks like, and this is what $10 billion looks like.
It's crazy.
So fucked.
It's so crazy. So yeah, this whole thing is super fucked. And like honestly, the only way for us the consumer to come out ahead is to not give a fuck. Do not engage with it. Do not.
I'm sorry you lost your Fortnite on your phone if that's how you play your Fortnite.
Yeah, that sucks. There are definitely people affected by that.
But just fucking just tell them you don't care.
Just know that it is Epic knowingly denying you access to that game because they think that it will literally weaponize you as a fan to make a big enough stink that Apple will.
They just want more money.
Totally. And also, this is not going to be decided publicly. Public opinion is going to have close to zero impact. This is going to be settled in the courts, and it's not like the judge is going to be like,
well, a gag order, and no one's going to talk about the percentage anymore.
The judge used the free Fortnite. Like, no. It's so. What do you even?
That would suck if you got a judge
doing
big free Fortnite T-shirt when he wears
comes
the
in.
And I mean, let's be honest here. The people who are playing Fortnite on their phones aren't fucking winning any matches anyway. So.
Boom! Roasted noobs.
You heard it here first.
Get on our levels. You want to step into the courts, you bitches. Hey, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War has been officially announced. Confirmed. It was rumored for a long time, but the next Call of Duty is Black Ops Cold War.
I think this is a stupid name.
Yeah.
Now, there's things I like about this, but I want to start by saying I think Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War is a stupid name.
Couldn't call it Black Ops 5. You know,
do you think
what are you going to do?
You could have just called it Call of Duty Black Ops 2020.
It's not going to be... So it sounds like it might not be in the way that... And I really hope they're fooling us. In a way that the first Modern Warfare kind of was a direct... like a retelling.
Yeah.
It's retelling, I guess, is the right word. Same characters, different situations, but very similar. This Black Ops game sounds very different.
Yeah.
So it will not be about Reznov and Alex Mason and tell me about the numbers and you're the man who assassinated JFK. Sorry, spoilers for Black Ops. That's in Black Ops, right? I'm not making that up.
We're just gonna.
I have absolutely no idea.
Okay. It sounds like it's gonna be very different.
I think you still call it Call of Duty Black Ops.
Sure, I agree. Actually,
or call it Call of Duty Cold War.
Yeah.
Like lean on the Black Ops name or don't. Like
there's too much Black Ops. The words Black Ops is very valuable.
I know.
IP.
So that's what I'm saying. Lean on them or don't. Like either do the Black Ops or just call it Call of Duty Cold War.
I'm with you.
I think when I think Black Ops, and this is going back before we ever heard about this game, I think Cold War.
Yeah.
Like that.
Do you?
Yeah. Like I always associate like Modern Warfare was the now war. Black Ops was more the Cold War.
And this is like a really dumb thing. When I hear Black Ops, I think like modern day SWAT, Black Ops, like secret,
right?
Modern
so
dudes.
For me, in the terms of video games, I'm talking about, like in terms of the franchise, the lineage of the Black Ops games, it was like, oh yeah, this is like the Cold War spy ops story that they're telling, way more than the frontline Modern Warfare story. So I just feel like you're in my head, and maybe I'm unique in this regard. I just feel like you're calling it Call of Duty Cold War, Cold War.
Yeah, you might be right. So it might also totally, and I hope it is, a retelling of Black Ops. Black Ops, the first Black Ops campaign is so good.
Fucking unbelievable.
It's so good.
We talk about our favorite campaigns, and you always like your mind always goes to the Modern Warfare trilogy, but then every now and then I'll just sit there and be like, Black Ops 1's the best campaign Call of Duty's ever done.
Yeah, no, as a like full standalone, no sequels, nothing attached to it. Black Ops, the campaign is so fucking good. It's so good, dude. Your underwater KGB bases, and
the numbers.
Has Gary Oldman in it?
Has Gary Oldman in it?
Holy fuck, dude! That Gary Oldman reveal is so good. Yeah. Oh, Black Ops is tremendous. And the second one I remember being pretty good too. It had like choices you could make in the campaign that kind of actually seemed to affect things.
In 2?
Black Ops 2.
I can hear Mason saying, Reznov! Like, in my head.
Yeah.
All the time.
And I can hear Reznov going, Mason. Don't tell me about the numbers. What was I just gonna... I can't remember anymore. That's okay. Worldwide reveal. August the 26th. Apparently, we'll get a full reveal of this. It's going to add a new... So the way they phrase this, it will add a new Warzone map, which to me implies Call of Duty Warzone will always be the Battle Royale now. Forever.
Okay.
Because it's a free-to-play thing.
Yeah.
And you can just get Warzone with no campaign.
That makes sense. Why keep redoing that when you're not charging for it?
So they say it'll add a new Warzone map, but it will also have a zombies mode, a full campaign. It'll be a full Call of Duty Black Ops game, including zombies.
I think that stuff probably be on the disc.
Yes.
Yeah.
And expected to release November, as is tradition. It was last year was Modern Warfare, right? We're like on yearly. Have we? So I've been on a Call of Duty for a while. Does anyone know? Do you know, Miranda, if we've not been on a yearly? Was there a break recently?
For Call of Duty?
Yeah.
I don't think there was ever a break.
What was before Modern Warfare? Do you know? What was the last Call of Duty?
Oh,
Like
God.
Blops 4?
Might have been Blops 4. Yeah.
I think that was the other thing I was going to say.
Yeah.
Was the thing I actually remember most about Call of Duty Black Ops is hearing COD Blops.
Blops, yes.
And just laughing my ass off at the acronym COD Blops.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 4. And then
Yeah.
before that, I think was Future Warfare or whatever that.
I don't even know.
Whatever that was called.
Was there a Ghost 2? Was there Call of Duty Warfare? Call of Duty
never a Ghost 2.
No.
Because I probably would have played that one because I didn't even love but played through that first campaign and they leave it on a real fucking cliffhanger in a way where I was like, oh, I want to see what happens after that.
That wasn't about
Whatever.
Ghost, the Modern Warfare character, right?
No, I think it was about like the program that it seems like he very much came from. Like it was a lot of people wearing
They all make
hoods
skull
with,
face.
Yeah.
I gotcha. Yeah, that I don't know about this Call of Duty, but apparently will revolve around Perseus, who is a real-life KGB spy who has never been found out or caught in real life, which is kind of interesting. The Perseus conspiracy is fascinating.
The amount of media that I consume that has something to do with the implications of JFK being shot
Yes.
is just unbelievable. Like the amount of things I'm into that keep going back to that, like,
Oh, yeah.
let's do the fucking...
Recently, as you're bringing this up, like, oh, yeah. We're going to save JFK. Okay, here, you just stick this in your pipe.
Okay.
Alex Mason from Black Ops, played by Sam Worthington.
Yes.
Remember, he was in like
Yep.
Terminator,
Avatar.
all those. He was in Clash of the Titans.
Yes.
Remember the movie where Liam Neeson said, "Unleash the Kraken."
Yeah.
In Clash of the
I
Titans.
fucking saw that.
Yeah, I saw it in theaters.
Ooh,
in Clash
that
of the
wasn't very
Titans,
good.
he plays Perseus.
Oh,
Yeah.
full circle.
You following me? It's a remaster. It's not a remaster, a retelling.
Okay.
We're going to bring back Sam. He's going to be Perseus like he always was.
Okay. And then who is the other guy going to be?
Reznov. I don't know. You probably don't have a Reznov because there's no World at War 2.
Yeah,
Is
so-
it going to be Liam Neeson? Is that what we're getting at?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
fuck.
That makes a lot of sense.
All right, we solved it.
All right. Good job, Kev.
August 26th. Here, this. So I pulled this story today. This one kind of made me mad as I wrote it.
Yes. Is this if it's the one?
Yeah. So last week we talked about Control, the one of my favorite games, one of your favorite games as well,
My
Brando.
favorite games, yes.
And the next gen upgrade. So the new DLC coming out, the AWE, it's not Alan Wake expansion, but it might as well be Altered World event.
Yeah.
Is August 26th. That's next week. Later in the year, they're going to release a Ultimate Edition. If you buy the Ultimate Edition, you'll get a free next gen upgrade. That's the only way to get the free next gen upgrade. Kind of a big deal because a lot of games are just, if you buy them
Just giving it to you
now,
for free.
just have it for free. Maybe like a $10 fee if it's an older game or something, like a reasonable fee.
Right. Some way
not-
for our people to get paid for doing the work.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Not Control though. And here is the explanation they gave. Just goddamn it, I'm going to read this. This is a quote. Every avenue we pursued, there was some form of blocker, and those blockers meant that at least one group of players ended up being left out of the upgrade for various reasons. As of today, we can't offer an upgrade to everyone, and leaving any one group out feels unfair. We understand that this is not what you want to hear. That doesn't mean anything.
No.
So, okay, every avenue we pursued, there was some form of blocker is a that doesn't mean any. What does that mean?
Well, it means that
What does that mean?
Somebody was saying, did you guys know we can sell more copies if we just don't upgrade anyone?
And those
There's
blockers
physically- there
block
was
those people.
Physically, an NFL
Literally.
lineman blocking him.
Those blockers meant that at least one group of players ended up being left out of the upgrade for various reasons. That's a bunch of bullshit. That is just a fake thing. That is a literal lie that they're just making up. The reason is we think we can sell more copies.
Yeah, that's a nice PR way to say we just think we can
It's
sell
a
more
shitty
copies.
PR way to say it. That's why it's a news story on the podcast this week.
This is one of those situations where you should have just let my imagination
Yeah.
go with it. Because
Don't
I was
say
like,
anything.
oh, there's probably some reason why they couldn't do
In
it.
my head, I was already like, oh yeah, ray tracing is probably a lot of
Yeah.
work. That must be expensive. I don't know. Sure. $40. Okay, you got me. But then as soon as they put this out and they're actually just like, fuck you.
So I imagine, like,
What the fuck,
playing
you
devil's
guys?
advocate, because I'm pissed by this too. But I imagine maybe what they mean by the whole blockers thing, where it's like, well, if we give it to everybody who has the DLC, then the people who don't have the DLC will feel left out.
All right.
And if we give it to the people, if we just give it to everybody, even if they don't have the DLC, then the people who bought the DLC will feel burned.
All right, hear me out.
Okay.
I have a solution.
Yes.
$10.
Yes.
You get the next gen version.
Sure.
You buy the game now. They have an Ultimate Edition for $40. Comes with the DLC, like it's going to. If you want that next gen upgrade, it's $10.
Yep.
It's $10 on top. Doesn't matter if you buy it today. Doesn't matter if whatever is $10 fee or whatever the price, 15, whatever they decide is a fair price. It is a.
And then you get the DLC.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Blockers.
Yeah.
Been blocked again,
I'm the
yeah.
metaphorical blocker.
Yeah, no, you get whatever you get. If you have the base game and you pay the $10, you have the base game. If you have the DLC and you pay the $10, whatever you have becomes next gen for $10.
That's where I think the block is that they are not, this game that they're releasing, this Ultimate Edition, is not separated from the DLC.
Yeah. But
It is the game with the DLC, so they can't be like, well, you get what you get.
and maybe the base game truly is not. Maybe they are not just turning up the settings like I suspect
Right.
they are. Like, 'cause
Yeah.
the PC version runs great and has ray tracing and all
Yeah.
this stuff.
And I feel extra burned on this whole thing because the console I played it on, my console of choice, the base Xbox, fucking barely survived this game.
Yeah.
It fucking ran like shit.
That's the real
And I
kick.
still love this game. Like, this is one of my top 3 favorite games of the year. And it ran like absolute ass. And it would be awful nice of them, the people who could not make a game that ran well on my console that they put it out on, to then be like, thanks for sticking with us.
Hey,
Maybe
you
for
even made it your
$10?
game of the year, even in spite of our
Yeah.
incredibly terrible performance
Yeah.
issues. Which
Why don't you take this fresh copy, which you won't play because you never play games twice, and
in like 10 years when
yeah,
Control 2
totally.
comes out.
I always play games twice. It's just a very, very long
Yeah.
time. When I've aged out of even that version of the game. But yeah, that's what's so frustrating for me, where it's like I bought all the stuff. Like, I've given you all the money you want for the content in this Ultimate Edition, and I played it on a way worse console. Can't I just have the version that's fucking good now?
It's too many blockers. They didn't want to leave any one group out, so they decided they would fuck everybody.
And that's a very, like,
That's a very
Like,
nice way to
it's
do
a
it.
very
Yeah, it's very.
parental way to do it
Yeah.
with several kids.
So stupid.
Where it's
Also-
just like,
Well-
if we're going to piss off one of you, we got to piss off all of you.
Well, it's just like how, you can't bring cookies to school unless you bring enough for everyone.
That's
so this
they
is
could bring enough. There's $10 for everyone.
505 Games is
Yeah,
devil
not
is-
Remedy.
is
Worth
leading-
noting. Not the developer,
Yes.
but the publisher.
is leading the charge in helping everyone learn about sharing.
Well, he's got us
Great,
there.
yeah. Touche. Ghost of Tsushima.
Yes.
Did we have the story last week? Okay. They're adding a online co-op mode this fall. And also a raid, apparently.
This is like a bonkers
What?
news story. Like, in a million years, I never would have been like, and this is like, we're months after release. We're
Fall.
a month after release,
yeah,
probably.
and they just say fall, so that could mean like November.
And all of a sudden, they're just like, this absolutely 100% from top to bottom, clearly looked like a single player experience from beginning to end. You're just gonna fucking put a bunch of you in there. You do whatever you want.
We're gonna have a 4-player online co-op mode where there's gonna be classes, there's gonna be abilities that sound like you level them up. There is apparently if you play 2 players, there's co-op story stuff. And then after this is called Ghost of Tsushima Legends, I guess is the co-op mode coming. After Legends releases, they're going to release. They just say, "quote A 4-player raid is coming shortly after."
What the fuck is that?
What does that even mean? I have no idea.
And it's weird because, and I like this game. We've kind of gone over our issues with this game where maybe it's a little lifeless and spiritless in points where it's not. The things that I would want them to put into a raid, I have not seen anything in their regular game that it's like, oh, you guys give these guys some time, they'll come up with a really cool big story mission.
Yeah, I don't.
The story missions are just
Walk to a
go
place,
kill
a
more
dude.
bandits. Yeah. But I got to see the raid.
I know, so do I. And like they use verbiage, they use language in the write-up about how like you'll have to coordinate with your teammates to counter supernatural effects or whatever in a way that sounds like a raid. You'll have to we got different people have to do different things at certain
Warp 3 of you to the
times.
dark zone.
Don't stand in the
You
fire.
have to run the gauntlet.
Yeah, it's
shoot the cup out of
weird.
Callus's hand.
I I really do like the combat in Ghost of Tsushima.
Me
So
too.
this like multiplayer wave survival thing sounds kind of dope.
I'm shocked at how quick that something so different is getting released.
It must have always been.
Yeah,
it was probably
totally.
going
It
to
was
be in
part
the
of the
game
plan,
at one
yeah.
point, and they
Maybe
couldn't
they
quite
just
get it
pulled
done
it
in
out.
time, and let's get the single player out and we'll do this later or whatever.
Yeah,
But
because it would like in a million years, I'd be like, well, yeah, probably maybe in the holiday they release some story DLC, and then maybe next year they release some more story
another
DLC.
little island or something.
Kind of a
maybe.
similar arc to like a Spider-Man or something like that,
Or an Infamous.
or an Infamous, some other Sony first-party.
Some other Sucker
thing.
Punch game, even.
Yeah, exactly. But no, they're like, nope, it's multiplayer and a raid.
Yep. Wild. I need to know what that is.
While we're dancing around to this general subject, they're doing the same thing, but for Goose Game.
Yes, they're adding co-op to Goose Game. I don't know if there's going to be a raid.
I don't think there's going to be a raid,
But-
but there's 2 geese.
Untitled Goose Game.
Untitled Geese Game. The geese expansion.
It's too much. Is that just
The
do you
flocking.
know anything about? Oh my god! Do you know anything about that? Is that there's just the single player? But what if you could have 2 geese?
That is as much as I know about it.
A Prince of Persia remaster got leaked. Apparently, listings for a PS4 and Switch version of it, just called quote Prince of Persia remaster, got out there. Said it's probably about November.
Worked for Resident Evil 2.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Just stick the remake at the end of the title. And
That's fair enough. No indication. There are so many Prince of Persia games. Really, no indication on which one it was. I thought it would have been Sands of Time.
that's the only one that like comes to mind when people say Prince of
Yeah.
Persia. I'm like Sands of Time.
Yeah.
That's the only one that I played, and that game was a lot of fun.
Yeah, especially like those like original Xbox release. I remember right around there. And
One of
like,
my great gaming shames. Never played a Prince of Persia game in my life.
even Sands of Time.
Even Sands of Time.
You're not missing that much. But apparently, so people like looked at the logo and some of the artwork and stuff. Apparently, it's going to be the 2008. It was just called Prince of Persia, which I did not like at all. I remember. Oh God, I remember doing this podcast when that game came out. I should talk to Oliver because I remember Oliver and I playing that game and talking about it on what would have then been the Angsty podcast. But
Well, the ASD podcasts, are they part of the feed?
they're not part of the feed,
Okay.
but you can find them on the website.
All right.
You can find them on talkingreckless.com if you go and look up their
Does our
archived
numbering go
podcasts.
just to Talking Reckless, or does it go through Manitank?
It goes through Manitank,
Okay.
but all that stuff is on Manitank and Talking Reckless are the same feed. One we're
Right,
actually
okay.
on the Manitank feed still, technically. / Manitank is our. Anyways,
To talk to someone about that.
yeah, Nick can never change is the problem. It can never change because everybody's subscribed to the Manitank feed, so we just have to keep
No, that's
keep
true.
updated.
It would be a real interesting way to see who the fuck is still listening.
We can never.
Sometimes we don't want to know.
It's like the underwear turned into Tron this week. I don't know, the bite the apple. And then last story I got for this week, the Fall Guys Season 2. Apparently we're going to get our first look at it next week on Jeff Keighley's Gamescom stream, which he's just calling opening night. He's going to have a Gamescom stream.
What?
For Gamescom.
Oh,
Remember Gamescom?
yeah.
I assume it's virtual. I have not been...
I was going to say, it's not happening.
Yeah, no, there's probably no. I would assume it's not in person. Virtual Gamescom, I would guess. But yeah, Keighley will have apparently a bunch of announcements, and one of them will be Fall Guys Season 2, which who knows? That might just be more cosmetics, in which case I regret bringing it up. But it might be new games. We need new games in Fall Guys.
I still haven't played since I won.
We need We need new games in Fall Guys.
It's like smoking. It's like I'm almost nervous about going back.
Yeah, I don't want to start again
Yeah.
because
I've had a good run. I feel
hard
like
to
I'm
stop.
not addicted. So you never know if you just went back for one. Maybe that's the one that gets you.
that one more bump
Yeah.
pushes you over.
Yeah.
That's what we call smoking bumps.
It's like cocaine too, yeah.
Oh, that's a fine bump of smoking. Woo! That's all the news I have, gentlemen.
It's a lot of news.
It's your news for the week. Podcast@talkingreckless.com is an email address if you want to write in here to the show. Nobody does anymore, but you can. It's always open. I should maybe make sure that email address is still working. Maybe I check it every week and there's nothing new. Maybe people have been trying. Or you
I'm
drop
gonna
on our
have to start
Discord.
sending fake ones in from work,
Yeah, please do.
from my work account,
I could use them.
my burner.
r/talkingreckless. No, we don't use that anymore. Never mind. It's all on our Discord. Just head on over to talkingreckless.com and you can sign up for that there. Any closing thoughts?
I'd like everyone on our Discord to watch Dark
Yes.
And then I would like a dark channel on our Discord
yeah.
so that I can ask all of you 100 questions a day about what happened in that show, and
Yeah.
you can answer me.
This was kind of a short podcast. You want to stick around and record a separate thing about Dark, maybe? Just some dark thoughts?
I thought a lot about
what's called Dark Thoughts with Matt and Brando.
That's a pretty good name. I was thinking about like the corkboard or something.
Oh, yeah.
I thought about a lot about like kind of how bad I would need a dark spoiler cast to get a lot off my mind, but I
Yeah.
also every time I thought about that, I'm like, I have no idea what form that show would take. Like it would just be us randomly spouting off things and then trying to answer them and going to the next thing. There would be no fucking, much like the show, no beginning or end.
It might be impossible to spoiler cast. I was thinking a lot about it too,
Yeah.
where it might be
Like, where do you start? Do you start episode by episode, or do you try and start in some sort of chronological sense? It's
neither
fucking-
of those feel like good
No.
answers.
So that's what I was thinking when I was like, it would just be me being like, I have these 40 questions. How many of them do you have a good answer for?
Yeah.
And now you give me your questions. And by the time we're done, we'll probably have more questions than we came in with.
Yep. Maybe we'll. I don't know. Maybe I'll try and get my thoughts in order. It'd be fun to maybe sit down and record something on that show. Yeah, you at home should maybe consider watching Dark. It's a real trip.
Yeah.
Real fucking trip. Haven't ever seen anything about time travel quite like that show. I'll say.
The most exhausting watch I've maybe ever had.
Yeah, truly.
Yeah.
It's halfway through the first episode and you just start sweating.
Yeah, totally. Like, I've never watched a show where I was just riding the pause and rewind button so many times to be like, the fuck? What?
Yeah.
Oh, hang on, I gotta go back.
It was
Okay.
It was like one of the only shows that I've like actively watched, not doing anything else, watching, doing nothing else,
Yeah.
and then it still felt like I was like, I'm like, did I pass out? Did I miss something?
Yeah.
Like maybe I'm having seizures and losing time or something.
Right. And you would like be texting me about the show or about anything, and I would literally have to pause the show to just send you the text back, because I'd be like, in the time it takes me to send this message, fuck, who knows what might
I missed
happen.
one key line of dialogue that
Yeah.
explains the whole goddamn thing. It's very good. It's very fun.
Yeah.
Yes, can't recommend enough. Dark on Netflix.
Do you want to talk about that video game thing that we said we were going to talk about?
Oh
on the
yeah,
show?
yeah. The video game documentary on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
it wasn't
that's
like
right.
I don't have like big thoughts. I just thought it'd be
No.
good. We were talking about before the show.
was
I'm like,
funny
we should
'cause,
talk
yeah.
about this on the show.
Yeah,
And I
it
completely
would have
forgot.
been a very good thing to talk about on the show if we
Yeah.
didn't do a whole show without talking about it.
I've watched 2 episodes of it, and it's fine. If you're way into video games, it's a little. It's just a
You're
celebration.
going to hear
of
a
games.
lot of stories that you probably already know.
Yeah,
And
it's a celebration of games, and it is like a very. It is like through a pinhole look of like. Because they talk about, like they'll talk about, for example, like famous RPGs, and they'll be like Final Fantasy VII, and they kind of build in a way that, if you don't know a lot about video games, you're like, oh, the only famous role playing game ever made, Final Fantasy VII.
yeah. Yeah, they're trying to give this show. It seems like a show made for people who are not as into video games as we are. Where
Totally.
it's like, well, what are the games people know?
Yeah.
What are the games that everyone knows? Not the games that people who play 30 games a year know.
Yeah.
And so some of that is kind of eye-rolly, where it's like, okay, I didn't just fucking finish Video Games 101 last year, Mr. Martinet.
I've heard of Pac-Man.
Yes, I
sir.
know that you got the idea from a pizza.
Yes.
All right?
Well,
I've already heard the story.
Now,
pizza?
I didn't actually know that, but now I do.
But that kind of stuff, where
Yeah.
like some of the urban legends and everything, where where I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
How long are we going to spend on this? Because I know this story. But then there's also so much where I'm like for me, as someone who does what I do, I think the production in that show is very good. The interviews
yeah.
look very nice.
Yeah.
They do a really cool treatment where they have the real world, but then have like fucking Donkey Kong climbing the real world, like video game Donkey Kong climbing the real world building.
Yep.
In a way that I'm like, oh, that looks real sharp.
Some real good like
The intro is really
pixel
cool.
animation stuff. That, yeah, and like there's a little bit in there that I didn't know. Like I
totally, me
didn't
too.
know about the like all the crazy like the arcade board mods and things that kind of led to modern video games
And
even.
like kind of the lawsuit that was filed by Atari, that then they had to kind of skirt around that. And
the
then
lawsuit. Did you must have watched that episode? The lawsuit.
that was the
It was
first
with
one.
it wasn't even a lawsuit. It was just with Midway after, where it must have been for Ms. Pac-Man, where because of their lawsuit with Atari, they settled with Atari and all this. They just went to Midway and were like, "We dealt with Atari.
Yeah.
We can deal with you." And it was like 1,000% a bluff. And they're
Yeah.
like, "Okay, make your game."
Yeah. literally, yeah, them like acting like they had precedent to do what they're about to do.
Even though they didn't win the lawsuit, they just talked real big, and Mido was like, okay.
That's a great story. I didn't know that story.
Now
And that's a great story. So there's a lot of stuff in there that's a lot of fun. And it's narrated by Charles Martinet.
Yeah, I saw a whole episode about Nintendo and was just waiting for him to be like, and I play Mario or whatever, but like didn't do it in a way that seems very un-Charles. Like they probably had to physically restrain him from doing it.
Yeah, I'm excited to get more into like the systems that I know more.
Yeah,
like obviously I'm very interested in the Atari and stuff for documentary sake, because it's like I know nothing about this. The most stuff you tell me is going to be new with these systems.
The Nintendo one is weird because it's all about Super Mario Brothers 2.
Oh, the best of the Marios.
So
like the American Super Mario Brothers
Yes.
2, where they're like fucking picking up vegetables and stuff.
And it's also they like went to Nintendo Power and stuff, but it all focused because the first issue of Nintendo Power, I guess, was Super Mario Bros. 2 was on the cover. So it's like all about Super Mario Bros. 2. And they even interview Miyamoto in a way that like Miyamoto didn't make. Correct me if I'm wrong. You guys might not know this. Miyamoto did not make Super Mario Bros. 2.
No, 2 was the.
It was Doki Doki Panic.
2 was somebody else made it, but yeah, he did 1 and 3 though. I believe.
2 was literally another game called Doki Doki Panic, and they put the Mario skin on it. But they interview Miyamoto, who was talking about his Mario games, but they're showing you Super Mario Bros. 2 in a way that I question what I'm like, wait, maybe did
you
Miyamoto
make
make
this?
this fucking game?
Yeah, I believe, and this might be wrong, but I think Super Mario: The Lost Levels was Super Mario 2 in Japan.
Yes.
Yeah. And he might have made that one.
So I think he made that one.
That one is fun. Have you seen The Lost Levels?
Yes,
The Lost
I've
Levels.
played the Lost Levels. It was
so
on
fucked.
when I was a kid. I got the Super Mario All Stars collection.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
It
yeah.
came with Super Mario Brothers 1, like regular 2, like American 2, the Doki Doki game, 3, World, and the Lost Levels. And the Lost I remember thinking that the Lost Levels was a joke.
Yeah,
like I
it's so
remember being like, "This is
mushrooms that kill you
this
when
is
you get
literally
them.
impossible. No one has ever beat this game."
Fucking wind.
Yeah, so it's fucking bizarre.
Yeah, that documentary's fun though.
Yeah. The one thing I will say, if I'm being nitpicky, is good documentaries always kind of have like inter-episode or like a beginning, middle, and end, where you like start one place and you end one place at the end of the episode. Whereas this really feels like we have one long story and we're chopping it in hour pieces, 6-hour pieces. So
And it's very much broken into light. Like the next episode I have is role playing, apparently, which I think is they literally showed dice rolling. Like, I talk about D&D or something. That might be cool.
Right.
But yeah, it's very.
I'm interested though.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Even as someone who's like way into this stuff and knows a lot of these stories, I'm still. It is very entertaining.
Coming off dark. Great to have a show that I can look at my phone a couple times while it's going on.
Yeah, something I can feel like secure in myself. Like I know what's happening here.
Yeah, or even like look up after I've been texting you and being like, "Oh, I missed the last 20 seconds of that." Oh well,
whatever.
Have it playing and be like, walk into the kitchen, make yourself a sandwich.
Yeah,
and
kind of half hear it.
Yeah.
Podcast, talkingrocks.com, the email address you want to write in here. That's all I have to say. A little bit of a shorter show, but we did have a Tron on this one. If you're a patron. Patron, that's right. I don't remember if I said it on the top of this show, but the Patreon rework should be done for next week. So we'll have a bunch of info for you on that. We're going to have some unprecedented things. Premium sale, gentlemen.
What?
Premium
currency?
Sale. No. Patreon sale. I don't know why I said premium.
Oh, okay.
Patreon sale. Talking Reckless Premium.
Okay.
If you sign up for the Patreon, I'll have more for you on that next week, but we'll have some opportunities to save yourself a bit of cash.
Oh.
They added a new feature to Patreon.
Oh.
Annual things that you can do at a discount, which is pretty interesting. So we'll take advantage of that.
Do it.
Yeah, next week, more info on all that coming. If you are currently a patron over on patreon.com/talkmarkspodcast, thank you very much for your support, keeping us on the air. Kevin thumbs up. Brando for some reason, but
I pointed at myself and then thumbed up because I'm a patron.
oh, okay, you are a patron. I thought you were pointing at Brando and thumbs upping. Yes, you are a patron. Kevin, thank you for keeping me on the air each and every week. We do a D&D podcast called Rolling Reckless. We will, I guess by the time you hear this, we will have been back on, but that usually happens Sundays. We want to come catch it live. I think that's all I have to say.
That's all I have to say as well.
Yeah, I always feel like I'm forgetting something.
It's because there probably is something, but
And there literally always is. I get like halfway home in the car, I'm like, fuck, I forgot to talk about whatever. Damn it.
Shit.
But
What the fuck was their name of that wrestling thing we did for a long time?
The TRWL,
Yeah, TRWL.
Talking Reckless Wrestling League.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did quite a few of those.
Yeah.
That was a lot of work.
I am stunned you did it for as long as you did.
So am I.
Yeah.
I should. Do you know how I made that? Like how I had to do those with to a little behind the scenes. Now that it's not actively being produced anymore, to make the spots happen. It was all in WWE 2K19. If you never saw it, video game. To orchestrate the matches.
Call it that.
I had to literally play as both players on two controllers on my desk. One hand on one controller, one hand on the other controller. Move them around to where I needed them to be. Pause the game. Turn them to AI control so they would do the moves, because I can't obviously do both moves on both controllers.
Yeah.
Hope to God they do the moves that I want, or at least fit into the story of the match we're trying to tell.
Hope to God.
And then do that so there would be about, I don't know, somewhere.
God.
The longest matches had close to 300 of those pauses, 3 to 320 of those pauses, and then I would have to go into the video editing software after and edit that cut on either side to make the pause seem like it wasn't actually a pause.
Did you ever think about just letting them go AI and be like, we'll just react to it?
We did. That's how we did the first one, and it
was
sucked.
like that.
The first one, yeah, because it was like one match was 5 seconds long. One match would literally not end.
Yeah.
We had a ladder match that, again, one dude was on the ladder and everyone else was just fucking off. Like it. We did that once. It didn't work. So I'm like, all right, I see how we have to do this. Yeah. But the reason we don't do those TRWL stuff anymore, a little bit not enough interest, mostly way too much work for a 2-hour show. It took me like 50 fucking hours to just record the footage.
Yeah.
Oh, it was madness.
That was brutal.
Super fun doing the commentary and stuff, but absolute madness. Come and ask me on the stream sometime if you want to know a little bit more about how I did that. It was quite the process. That'll do her. Thanks very much for joining us. Kevin Barr, thank you very much, as always, for being here, for owning the studio, for paying the rent on the studio. Thank you.
Thank you.
Brandon Lynch, tentpole of this podcast. I think you've been here probably the last 9,000 consecutive episodes, something like that.
It's been like a good streak going.
Hell yeah. Thank you very much.
Might take a week off soon.
Unacceptable.
Yeah.
The show will explode.
I'm taking a real week off from work.
Yeah.
Coming up, and I'm trying to decide if that makes me want to do this show more or less.
Yeah. You let me. Everyone needs vacations.
Yeah.
You let me know if you need a week off.
I'll probably be fine. It'll be it's the kind of thing where I'm going into it thinking like I'd like nothing on my plate.
Yeah.
I'd like nothing on my plate,
Yeah.
and then kind of schedule as I go.
I feel that.
But then at the same time, that survey will come out. And
You
be
were
like, what the fuck? I'm not gonna fucking you. I'm not gonna be doing stuff all these nights.
If you just blank that survey, and no one even has to know. That's the beauty of the survey. If you want a week off, if you want a week off, just be like, oh, I'm busy this week.
You get to a point. God bless everyone who we do the show.
And then I have to ask people like individually, like, oh, I need you, please. You gotta save the show.
God bless everyone I do the show with, because it kind of works to my benefit in a lot of ways. Is I pick the day I want to do the show. With you.
That's right.
And then we see if there's anyone else who wants to join.
My schedule is open 100%, so Brando picks the day, and then we try to find the +1.
Yeah. So, or sometimes I'll just sit and watch for Kev or Andy to pop one day on, and I'll be like, there's a date, we're doing it, let's go.
Yeah, or it'll come to like Friday, we're like, I need some surveys, boys.
Yeah.
Anyone get a survey this week?
If I'm not doing the blank survey, taking a week off, then it's Friday.
Yeah. It's Friday all the time.
I'm consistent on. I'm good on Fridays.
Hell yeah! 10 polls, gentlemen. Thank you very much for making this happen. These boys volunteer their time. We'll talk
for now.
We'll talk after the show. For now, I got some. That could be taken a lot of ways, I guess. But
you have some money for me?
We'll talk after the show. Do you and hope. Thank you very much for listening. We'll be back here next week with the next edition of the Talking Reckless podcast. We'll see you then.